the 8th of September, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora. Hello.
Okay, let's go, everybody.
Day.
Yeah, we're good.
I wasn't here yesterday, so no.
Okay, so yeah, we are actually we are no longer on 98A. So we have to give a round of applause for finishing 98A.
Right.
And we're on 98B. And we're on to a new subject. Well, not actually a new subject. Okay, so we're staying with the same subject. We're up to Amar of Dimi Bar Hanina. Ha de Rabba. Oh, so we have to. Okay, so we'll let's start from there, and we will go from there. Let me just close the door here. Okay. So, right, this could be found. It's the fourth line from the top of the page, and we're going to start off right from the beginning of that line. Amar Rev Dimi Bar Hanina. So we go to Alan to continue the reading today.
Okay. The Gemara. Gemara attempts to link Rabba's ruling to a Tanaic dispute. Amar Rav Dimi Bar Hanina. Or to Rabba, the ruling of Rabba, that one is not liable for burning the loan document of his fellow. Maha lo kes Rabbi Shimon Rabban Ta'ahi is contingent upon a matter of dispute between Rabbi Shimon and the rabbis. The Rav Shimon Damar Dover HaGo Reim Mormon Dormi. According to Rabbi Shimon, who says that something that can cause a benefit of money is considered as money. One is liable for burning the loan document of his fellow. According to the rabbis who say that something that can cause a benefit of money is not considered as money. Lo machayev, he is not liable for burning the loan document.
Okay, we're going to go right away to Rashi. There's a long Rashi over here. Fourth line, narrow line over here. Third narrow line. The Reb Shimon Chayev.
The Reb Shimon Chayev. According to Rabbi Shimon, he's Chayev. Hai she sharfu l'shalem ligzalan ligazlan de mayhem. So this that he has to pay the thief the value Jidavar ha-goram for the matter of the indirect damage, Lemamon, the money, who is she'im haya boyin haya machziru gazlan leba'alav upater disnan le'ayil. So he has to pay the thief the value of the thing that was damaged indirectly for money that if he needs machaziru, I don't know.
She'im haya be'en, if it would be be'en, meaning it would be in existence. I think we're talking here about the thing that was burned. If it would be in existence, haya machziro gazlan lebalav, then the gazlan would return the item lebalav to its rightful owner.
And he'd be putter, he'd be exempt, as we learned above.
Yeah.
So what is this that he has to pay him for the grama?
Yeah. So the problem with this Rashi is that he's not talking about our case. He's talking about Reb Shimon's case. That Reb Shimon has a machlokes with Rabbanan about a certain matter that the Gemora talks about. But over here, Rashi seems to be dumping us off right in the middle of this case, and we don't really understand exactly 100% what the case is about. Let's just try to see, maybe perhaps again, if we read this Rashi, we can understand what is what we're a little bit in the dark over here is what exactly is the case that Reb Shimon and Rabbanan are arguing about. What happened? So we're getting sort of like a half story over here from Rashi. But the fact that Rashi mentions the existence of a gazlan, we see right away that this is not the case that that Rabbah was talking about. Rabbah never talked about a gazlan. He talked about somebody who burned his friend's loan documents. So right away, we understand that we're talking about the case, a different case, and we're comparing this case that Rabbah talked about and saying that it's comparable to the case that Reb Shimon argued with the Rabbanan about. So without further ado, let's try to just see if we could, without looking up this Gemora, which of course is probably the most advisable thing to do, but let's just see if we could fathom from Rashi's words, perhaps what the case is that they're arguing about. So Rashi says, Reb Shimon Chayev. According to Reb Shimon, the din is that he is Chayev. Who is Chayev? Rashi answers that question right off the bat. Hi, Shesarfo. Oh, Phil is calling and he's wondering what's going on. Yes, good morning, Phil. You're not able to get on? Okay, so let me get you in just a second. Okay, I'm gonna have to go to the other computer to let Phil in because just a second. Okay, so this is what we call a run-on Rashi, according to Reb Shimon Chayev. Who is Chayev? Rashi continues. It's a run-on Rashi. Chayev, Hai Shesarfo. This one that he burned it. He burned it. What did he burn? I don't know. He burned something. And who is he Chayev to? Says Rashi, he's Chayev l'shalem l'gazlan, to mayhem. He is obligated to pay to the gazlan its monetary value of the thing that was burned. So you see over here, the first few words of what Rashi's saying, this is not the case that Rabbah was talking about. This is a different case that Reb Shimon differed with the Chachamim, and Reb Shimon ruled that the burner was chayev to pay to a gazlan for that what he burned. Why? Here's the principle that the Gemora quotes: the davar hagorim l'mammon. It's a davar hagorim l'mammon. So she'im haya be'en. This thing that was burned is something which is a cause of money. It causes money. It's causing the gazlan to be able to exempt himself of his obligation. If he would be able to return this thing that the burner burnt up, he would be able to return it to the owner and exempt himself, says Rashi. And so since the burner burnt it up, the gazlan is not able to return it. And now, what does that mean? That the gazlan is going to have to shell out the value of the thing that he stole and give it to the person that he stole that thing from, that the other person burnt up. So Reb Shimon rules that the person who burnt up this thing is obligated to pay the gazlan. Because it caused that the gazlan was not able to exempt himself from responsibility over here by simply returning the object that he stole. Okay, so that seems to be the story that we have so far. And so you see over here that Rav Dimi Bar Chanina, he's saying that this matter that Rabbah talked about, that somebody who burns his friend's loan documents is exempt. So he's saying that is really subject to a machlokas tanoim, and Reb Shimon would say that the person who burnt it would be chayav, just like he says in this case that the person that burned this thing that he's now got to pay the gazlan, he's chayav, because when it comes to mammon, if it's a davar which is if it's a goram of mammon, he's going to be chayav to pay for it, even though it's an indirect damage. When it comes to mammon, it's Rav Shimon rules it's chayav. Okay, so we're in the middle of Rashi. Let's see what Rashi says after this. The Tanan Le'el. Now Rashi's invoking a previous Gemora that we apparently learned once, so we should remember this. Let's see if we remember it.
Gazo
Gazo
chametz ve'avar alav ha-pesach. So he stole chametz, and then Passover came. Omer lo, he says to him, Hare shelcha lefanecha. Behold, that is yours is before you. So the thief gives the chametz back to the owner during Pesach.
Well, after Pesach, over Alava Pesach. Passover passed over.
Okay, so it passed over. It didn't tell me it passed over. So the thief had the chametz in his possession over Pesach.
Right.
Now he wants to give it back.
Yeah, it sounds like he stole it on Erev Pesach, and then 7 days of Pesach passed. And now, after Pesach, he knocks on the door and says, "Here's your chametz." So now, of course, this chametz is forbidden to have any benefit from, because the
was owned by a Jew.
It was owned by a Jew, and he didn't sell it, and he wasn't mavatalit. Or whatever the facts of the case are over there, it was in the possession of the gazlan, and now the gazlan. The point of the story is that the gazlan can now absolve himself of responsibility for the theft by returning the chametz that he stole, even though right now this chametz is totally worthless to the owner of the chametz, whereas when he stole it, it was worth whatever it was worth. Okay.
V'achshav she'ein ba'in yachzir damim, and now he is not obligated to return the value, the balav, to the owner. Ube chametz Pesach hu de amrinan, and concerning chametz on Pesach, it is that we say hachi mishum de ikaro klomar be tachlaso mamon hayu ve'achshav afal pi she'eno shav leklum gorem Gotta translate a little bit here. Let's see. And with chametz on Pesach, it is that we say here cause that it is called. I'm sorry. What is this word? Da'ikro.
Yeah, the Ikaro from the outset.
From the out, it is because from the outset, it's as if to say, so initially, mamon hayu, it was worth money. V'achshav, and now afal pi, even though she'eno shav, it's not worth anything. Leklum, it's not worth anything. Gorem, it causes the mamon. It's a cause of money. It is.
Yes.
Aval, but bishtare de'me'olam lo haya gufo mamon mi shema'at le. But with a document, but that exists, it is not the body that's valuable. Who Shema'at le? What is Shema'at le?
It teaches it. Who do you learn it from?
Mi shamasle. Have we heard this? Like, is this comparable?
Since the body of the document which was burned is not intrinsically valuable, it's not comparable.
Yeah.
He didn't burn the money. He burned this document. The document's not the money. Still theory on the money.
So what are we comparing?
Okay.
We're comparing burning a document,
Wow.
burning the chametz, or we're saying the chametz lost its value and therefore it's comparable to the document being burned.
Yeah, boy, this is I'm actually trying to look for the words in the Gemora to the Dibra Maskil that we see in Rashi.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether it's what this Rashi is telling us is a little bit out of place. But in any case, I don't see these words in. I don't see anywhere that it says L'Reb Shimon Chayev. Do we? I don't see them.
You see, I see it says the Rabbi Shimon the Amar Davar Hagorem the Mamon be Mamon Dame Chayev.
That's later on.
So could it be that he's taking the first word and the last word of that sentence?
Yeah, yeah. It seems as though these words that Rashi has we don't have them exactly in our Gemara. So I'm just I'm wondering where exactly it sounds. Okay, first of all, let's just without getting into that problem, we just have let's just go over this last part of this Rashi again. So we see says Rashi, Rashi is reporting over here. He's reporting the case that Reb Shimon says is chayav. And he's told us that the case that Reb Shimon says is chayav is referring to the person that burned he burned it, and therefore he's going to have to pay the gazlan, the monetary value of what he burned, because it's a davar agarim l'mammon, because that chametz that he burned, that chametz that he burned is a davar agarim l'mammon. It has a status of being something which causes mammon to be paid up.
The chametz is a mamish item. You know, that you're burning the chametz has its value, you burn, it's no longer there. It's not the same thing as the star. The star is not the money.
Yeah, okay, that's what Rashi says at the end. And as far as we're concerned right now in the Gemora, as far as we've read in the Gemora, we were trying to explain Rav Dimi Bar Hanina, who said that he believed that the case of Rabbah with the burning of the loan document is in fact comparable to this case that Reb Shimon and Rabbanan argue about, because he said that ha the Rabbah machloikis Reb Shimon Rabbanan he. This that Rabbah told us that somebody that burns the loan document is putter. He is talking about a case which is subject to a dispute amongst the earlier authorities. Reb Shimon and Rabbanan argue about this case, and according to Reb Shimon, who says that a davar agarim l'mammon is mammon, he's going to be chayiv to pay, and according to Rabbanan, who hold that it's not mammon, it's not regarded as mammon, davar which is garim l'mammon is not regarded as mammon, and therefore he would be exempt. So at this stage that we're holding right now in the Gemora, according to what Rav Dimi Bar Hanina is saying, he believes that it is a tzushtel, that the cases are comparable. So that's what's confusing about this Rashi, that Rashi seems to be saying at the end of the Rashi that the cases are not comparable. And so in the place that we're holding in the Gemora with the statement of Rav Dimi Bar Hanina, it seems out of place. So that's why I was wondering about where this Rashi can be placed in the Gemora, and the words of the Dibra Maskil are a mystery to me, because they don't appear in the Gemora exactly the way that we have it. So in any case, we'll proceed with this Rashi over here. But you're right, Phil, that it seems that the end of Rashi is telling us that the cases are not really comparable. Okay, so let's expound upon. Let's read the rest of the Rashi over here. Rashi now, having said that, says that what we're talking about really is the case of the Mishnah on Sadi Vav Amud Beis 96b. This is what we learned above, says Rashi. This case that Rashi was telling us about, this case was the case that we learned above, and then he quotes what the rule of the case is. Gazal chametz, somebody who steals chametz, but overall of a Pesach, and then Pesach passes over, and now after Pesach, Omerlo, the Gazlan says to the owner of the chametz, Harei shalcha lefanecha, here is the chametz that belongs to you, and I am performing the mitzvah of Heshivas Agzela Asher Gozal. So now I'm exempt from any further obligation to give you anything. I returned the item that I stole. Now, Uba chametz b'Pesachu. This is talking about chametz and Pesach. The Amrin and Hachi. This is That's this case over here that we're talking about, chametz b'Pesach, that Reb Shimon says that he is chayav in this case. Mishum de ikaro, because initially, kloimar b'tchilaso, in the beginning, when the Goslin stole this chametz, mammon habe, it was mammon. It was regarded as something of value. It was chametz. It could be eaten. It could be used. It could be sold. It was before Pesach that the Goslin stole it, so it has a status of actual mammon. It has intrinsic value. But now that Pesach has passed over, and now eino shava leklum, it's not worth anything. You can't eat it. You can't sell it. You can do nothing with it. It has no value whatsoever. But nevertheless, it's called a gorem l'mamanhu. It is called a gorem l'maman. And both Rabbi Shimon and Rabbanan agree to this case that the Goslin, even though it's worthless, he could fulfill his obligation to the owner by giving this chametz that is now worthless back to the owner. And that's what makes it, that's what gives it a status of a davar, which is gorem l'maman. This chametz is a davar. It's not mammon right now. It's not mammon, but it's a davar which is gorem l'mammon. It causes mammon. What does it mean that it causes mammon? It means that the Goslin, if he takes this chametz, which is absolutely worthless, and he gives it back to the owner, like that, he can save himself the value of having to give the actual value of what that chametz was at the time that it was stolen to the owner. That's called the davar, which is gorem l'mammon. It itself is not. It's a gorem l'mammon, and Reb Shimon holds that this davar, which is gorem l'mammon, has a halachic status of being mammon. We're going to regard it as mammon, and so therefore, since we're going to regard it as mammon, what is the nafkamina of that? That's what Reb Shimon says, that the third person that stepped into this picture over here, and he took this chametz that was worthless after Pesach, and before the Goslin had the opportunity to return it to the owner, this third person came along and he burnt up this chametz. Now it's just a bunch of ashes on the ground. Can the Goslin now return these ashes on the ground and says, "Here's your chametz. Here's what I stole from you"? No, he can't do that. It's not what he stole from him. It's a bunch of ashes. It's not chametz. So like this is a davar gorem l'mammon, because now the Goslin will be obligated to pay the value. In order to fulfill the mitzvah of Heshivas HaGzeros Sher Gosel, to return to the owner what he stole, he's now going to have to give him back money, the monetary equivalent of the chametz that he stole. So that's called the davar gorem l'mammon. Reb Shimon says, therefore, since this chametz has a status of mammon, because it's a davar which is gorem l'mammon, the burner is obligated to pay the Goslin for it. What's he gonna? How much is he gonna pay him? I guess he's gonna pay him the amount of what that chametz, the value, I guess, of what what would it take to make a proper return to the owner? He'd have to buy actual chametz now, I guess, and give him that, or the monetary equivalent. Okay, so that's what it says over here in the Gemora.
But what is this last phrase? Mi shema'as le.
Okay, so this is the last line. What Rashi says. So far, Rashi has just explained the case, the machlokes between Reb Shimon and Rabbanan with that chametz, and now Rashi says aval, but the shtare, when it comes to a loan document, that was the case that Rabba was talking about. He was talking about a loan document that the guy burned. and Rabba said that he's putter over there. And Rashi is saying over here, B'shtare dima olam lo haya gufay mamon. Never, ever, me'olam, never, ever was the body of this star have any intrinsic monetary value other than the price of the paper that it was written on. And so therefore Rashi says, Mi shamasle. Who heard of a case like that, which is a machlokas between Reb Shimon and Rabbanan? Reb Shimon and Rabbanan, they were arguing about a case of chametz. She'over laba Pesach. That chametz, Rashi points out, was mammon before Pesach came in. It had intrinsic value, gufay mammon. It was only because of the isser of chametz on Pesach that it became valueless. But intrinsically, before Pesach came along, it had intrinsic value. And on that case, Reb Shimon says you have to pay. That's a davar which is goram l'mammon mammon. But the case of the star, Rashi is pointing out, the star was never it wasn't gufon mammon. It never had any intrinsic value unto itself. It just was a written document that allowed the lender to pursue his loan and get his loan paid off. But it's not comparable to the case of the chametz, which has intrinsic value.
I'm confused by that. If the star is a goram lamamon, what difference does it make whether it has intrinsic value or not?
The star is not the momo. Even if he didn't have the star, he would really be owing him the momo. The star is just some proof that he has to make it easier to collect the money, but he still would owe the money even if the star wasn't there. So it's not quite the same thing. The other thing is if the item doesn't exist, the item doesn't exist. You didn't destroy an item. Okay, I have to get notes. After 12:30. Take care. Be well.
Okay.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Phil.
Thanks.
Shabbat shalom, Phil.
All right, be well.
Glad we're able to get you into the meeting.
Yeah,
So-
sorry
so.
we didn't see you before.
Okay.
See you tomorrow, Raghu.
All the best, everybody.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Bye, Lou. Bye, Alan.